Here with another video. Today I will be building an arcade in my Minecraft world, so let's do it.
Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video I'll be showing you how to make an arcade. This is the amount of space required to make your arcade. Feel free to make this grid in your world if you do feel as though it will help you out. And here are all of them. That we will use throughout the build. These materials will make the actual arcade building, but we will have to grab a lot more stuff later on, but we'll do that later. Please make sure that you have access to all of these. Step 1, if you have made the grid, come all the way to the front right hand corner of it and count backwards. 1, 2. Extend left by 1 and then place 3 terracotta on top of each other. 1, 2, 3. Place a black concrete on top and extend left by 19.
19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Extend backwards by 21.
21. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Then extend across the back of the build and extend forwards to join all the way back to where we very first started. So we'll end up with this square, but probably a rectangular shape. It looks very squarish though. Well, the next thing that we are going to do is add a row of blue concrete directly on top of the black concrete. So all the way around we are simply just going to add one layer of blue. And once we have added the layer of blue, what we now want to do is this. Extend the row of blue concrete forwards on the front of the build so there overhangs one row. Extend the left blue concrete block up by 3. 1, 2, 3. Right by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The left blue concrete block up by 3. 1, 2, 3. Live painting of 2 plants in plant.
Hi. Yeah.
Right by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And extend the last 2 rows down.
Yeah.
Turn off your room.
Alexa, turn off Jin's room.
Okay.
3. Right by 8. 1,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And extend the last 2 rows down to the ground. In addition to this, we also want to extend this block backwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. And extend the last 2 rows down to the ground. In addition to this, we also want to extend this block backwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
we want to extend that down to the ground as well. We want to fill both of the empty spaces in using white concrete. This is where the letters are going to go. Grab yellow concrete, and on the right side of the front of the build, where we have this additional row of blue concrete, place a row of yellow directly in front of it. Extend the row to the right by 1, and then down and up. Add an additional row of yellow concrete to the right. Extend the row to the right by 1, and then down and up. Add an additional row of yellow concrete to the right, and then extend the top of this shape, right, down, right, and the bottom of the shape, right, up, right. Just like this. We then want to add an additional row of blue concrete directly on top of the overhanging row of blue that we already have. Now we are going to give Pac-Man, hopefully you guys can tell that this is Pac-Man, we want to give him something to chase, so we'll leave a gap of 1 between him and what we're going to place, which is going to be a white concrete, which is going to be suspended in the air, and we're actually going to have 3 white concretes right at Pac-Man, so it looks as though that he's actually like in motion. That is where he's going to go. So they're just kind of like floating in the air. So now that we have done this, we are going to add a little bit more detail regarding the walls of our build. So we only have 1 row of terracotta, and I want you to make your way to it. We want to extend it to the length by 2 rows. 1, 2. Leave a gap of 2 in the ground and place a vertical row of terracotta. Gap of 2, terracotta. Gap of 2, terracotta. Gap of 2, terracotta. Just like this. Behind the terracotta, gap of 2, terracotta. Gap of 2, terracotta. Gap of 2, terracotta. Just like this. Behind the terracotta, we want to place a row of black concrete, to which we then want to place tinted glass along the inside of it, black stained glass pane along the glass, and then we want to extend the top glass left 1, 2, 3. And we also want to extend backwards by the same, so like glass pane along the glass, and then we want to extend the top glass left 1, 2, 3. And we also want to extend backwards by the glass pane along the glass, and then we want to extend the top glass left 1, 2, 3. And we also want to extend backwards by the same, so like 1, 2, 3, just like this. So we then want to place tinted glass on the end, join down to the ground. We then want to add a row of terracotta inside of the tinted glass, leave a gap of 2, and then place a row of terracotta vertically. In addition to this, although we may have to change this a little bit later, but it's not really too big of a deal, we want to place a row of black concrete. We might even, it may even make more sense to shift the glass an additional row inwards, although originally I did have it lining up, but it makes more sense to me as I'm looking at it now for it to match the opposite side there, so I think that that actually looks a little bit better. So now that we've done that, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to focus on the sign. So we are going to put all of this away for a second to make way for the loom, white banners, yellow dye, and white dye. So place the loom on the ground, open it, white banner in there with some yellow dye, and the first thing that we have to do is make the letter A. That's a vertical row of yellow on the left dye. So place the loom on the ground for a second to make way for the loom, white banners, yellow dye, and white dye. So place the loom on the ground, open it, white banner in there with some yellow dye, and the first thing that we have to do is make the letter A. That's a vertical row of yellow on the left, right, horizontal on the top, through the middle. Hey. Next is R. Vertical row of yellow on the left, horizontal on the top, diagonal row, top left corner, the middle. Head banner in there with some yellow dye, and the first thing that we have to do is make the letter A. That's a vertical row of yellow on the left, right, horizontal on the top, through the middle. Hey. Next is R. Vertical row of yellow on the left, horizontal on the top, diagonal row, top left corner to bottom right corner. Next is C. Horizontal on the top, bottom, vertical on the left. Then would be A, but after that, D. So a vertical row of yellow on the right, white in there, diamond shape in the center, yellow in, and we are going to place a vertical row of yellow on the left, horizontal on the top, and also the bottom. Last but not least, we are going to need an E, which is a vertical row of yellow on the left, and then a horizontal through the top, middle, and bottom. So, this does involve us reusing an A, but we also need to reuse every letter anyway, unless we have to remake them. It depends what game mode you're playing on, but in creative, we're lucky enough that we can just reuse these. A, R, C, A, D, E. And on this side also, A, R, C, A, D, E. Perfect. So we simply have arcade written out in nice yellow letters with the blue background, which not only is sort of Pac-Man-y, but also Blockbuster as well. So I guess that's a positive. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just delete all of these blocks because I don't think we'll ever use these again except perhaps the white banners. And the next thing that we actually have to do is a lot of busy work, is how I'll describe it. Let me show you what I mean. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add a little bit of pavement outside the front of the arcade. A lot of busy work is how I'll describe it. Let me show you what I mean. So first thing that I'm going to do is add a little bit of pavement outside the front of the arcade. The pavement is simply going to be 2 rows thick, and it is going to span the entire width of the arcade, and not only also going to line up with the edge of the glass that we have. Did I mention that the pavement is going to be made using smooth stone? This is because in my particular city, smooth stone is the prevalent paving material, but yours may be different. I'm also going to fill in the indents in between the windows, as the glass will be set 1 row backwards. So after we have done that, the next thing that we have to do is we have to make the walls of our arcade. This is really easy. The walls are made using terracotta. Terracotta wants to be placed in is we have to make the walls of our arcade. This is really easy. The walls are made using terracotta. Terracotta wants to be placed in between the row of black concrete that we have above in the build, and we simply want to connect a row of terracotta in between the ground and black concrete. It's as easy as that, really. The next thing that we are going to do, now that we have created the walls, is we will add a little bit of hedge outside of the arcade. So this is simply going to be oak leaves, and I'm just going to wrap around the entire building. I'm not going to wrap it around literally the entire building, but maybe up to this window here on the left, and up most of the right wall will do actually, and that looks pretty good. So after that, I think that the next course of action is for us to dig out the entire floor for the arcade. So I'm going to dig out all of the course of action is for us to dig floor for the arcade. So I'm going to dig out all of the grass inside of the building, and that also includes underneath the windows, if we have any place. What I mean by underneath the windows also is just in between any frame that we might have. So, for instance, what you can see on the left side of the building, not where we have already placed smooth stone. On the left side of the build, we simply just have to destroy this white concrete that we used for the border of the build, replace it using smooth stone up to the point where we are in between the terracotta. We then want to place black concrete behind it, which will allow us to place tinted glass directly on top to create windows, and then we want to do the same sort of thing on the front, except we already have the smooth stone, so we will use black concrete as a frame behind all of the terracotta, and then place tinted glass in between to create another set of which leaves a hugely not filled in area, which we are now going to fill in using red terracotta. This is going to be my floor material of choice. Now, it is up to you what you want to use as a floor material. Red terracotta is good, but you might want to create a blend to give kind of like a worn out sort of carpet look. So you could use red terracotta in conjunction with red wool, red concrete, maybe even chuck in a couple of red shulkers. You may even want to throw an orange terracotta here or there. You might prefer that. I'm happy to keep it simple, but you might have a bit more... Your taste may be a little bit more extravagant than mine, so do feel free to mess about and kind of figure out what you like the best. Now that the floor has been made, we can work on the interior walls. We have the exterior walls made out of terracotta, but the interior walls will be different. On the left side of the entrance here, we are going to begin by placing 4 light blue terracotta on top of each other, next to this window frame. It's also worth mentioning that we are going to place black concrete above all of these windows, starting from left of the light blue terracotta, and we'll just extend it all the way to the front of the build and across like this. Well, now that we have placed a row of light blue terracotta here in this corner, we want to do the same thing in the back left corner of the build, a row of 4, and then we are going to extend it out towards the front and across the back, so there is a parent and we can see it. And the same thing in the other back corner as well, so we want to have a row of 4 light blue stacked up like this, and all the way over here next to these windows. So it's a little bit tricky here, so we are simply going to stack this up like this, extend it 1 row forward so that we can actually see it, and then we simply just want to connect all of these terracottas together using blue terracotta. So we have kind of created a frame using light blue, and we will fill the center of that frame in using just regular blue terracotta. Feel free to change the colors of these, but I feel as though that these go together quite nicely. Now that is perfect. The next thing that we have to do is add the ceiling. The ceiling is going to be made using chiseled quartz. So, chiseled quartz is simply going to be placed on top of all of the blue variants of terracotta, and this is going to be our primary ceiling material, but not the roof material. So all we have to do is simply just fill the entire top of the building in, first of all, with chiseled quartz. Now that the top of the build is filled in with chiseled quartz, the next thing that we will do is simply extend another row of blue concrete. All that is filled in with chiseled quartz. The next thing that we will do is simply extend another row of blue concrete all the way around the edge of the building, so that we have 2 rows of blue concrete stacked on top of our black concrete. And then we will simply fill the top of the build in using blue concrete. I would also recommend just filling the back of the sign section in. I might even shave that bit off the pack then. The back of the sign section in using an additional row of blue concrete like this, and then proceed to just literally just fill the entire rest of it in. Then we will another row of blue concrete all the way around the edge of the building, so that we have 2 rows of blue concrete stacked on top of our black concrete. And then we will simply fill the top of the build in using blue concrete. I would also recommend just filling the back of the sign section in another row of blue concrete all the way around the edge of the building, so that we have 2 rows of blue concrete stacked on top of our black concrete. And then we will simply fill the top of the build in using blue concrete. I would also recommend just filling the back of the sign section in. I might even shave that bit off the pack there. The back of the sign section in using an additional row of blue concrete like this, and then proceed to just literally just fill the entire rest of it in. Feel free to use a contrast material, as a matter of fact. So you could use one of the terracottas. I would also recommend just filling the back of the sign section in. I might even shave that bit off the pack though. The back of the sign section in using an additional row of blue concrete like this, and then proceed to just literally just fill this. Feel free to use a contrast material, as a matter of fact. So you could use one of the terracottas, which would look good, or even just regular old terracotta or black concrete. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going with blue concrete because I don't think it matters too much, but you could easily use something else. And that is it for this part of the tutorial, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, please do.
So, I have finished a arcade. Well, it's not finished yet. I need to add the interior. I'm going to make the interior off camera. I'm going to do it on off recording because I don't want this video to be too long. So, I'm going to end the video here, guys. So, I'll see you guys later.